What free software is so good you can't believe it's available for free? To come to mind, pfSense and FreeNAS. Both are heavily used at my house. pfSense is a free open source firewall and router that is feature complete to the level of competing with almost all SMB, small and medium business, commercial firewalls. It is also extremely reliable. FreeNAS is a software network attached storage operating system. It quickly transforms any spare old computer with a few drives and a network interface to a centralized file server with support for almost everything under the sun, from Apple time machine backups to enterprise iSCSI setups that allow diskless booting of machines on the local network. Here's hoping I remember FreeNAS is a thing when I decide to make one. As a digital painter, Krita is probably the best art software you're going to get for free, as long as you add the brush packs. Some of the stuff I've managed to whip up / the amount of adapting you can do to the main window is insane. Edit. I didn't think a comment like this would get gold. Thank you so much guys. Came here to say this. I'm a hypocrite and don't use it, but it's excellent and fucking free. If you ever thought you'd like to paint digitally, but the price of Photoshop scared you away, fear not. Download Krita. The UI is good and similar enough to PS. It runs very well. Performance is good, has a good user base, it's absurdly well color managed. Seriously, some painting programs, WTF, art rage, don't even bother handling any color profiles at all. Krita does all the profiles correctly. Get Krita, https://krita.org/n/. Studpoint IO is a wonderful Lego modeling program. It's great for recapturing that feeling of building with bricks, and you don't have to worry about running out of a certain color or stepping on a 1x1 piece. Apparently it also has an option to work on a project with your friends, but I haven't tried it out. Studpoint IO is dope. My favorite feature is that there's an option to bring you to Bricklink, where it picks all the parts you used in your model from different stores across the country, so you can order them and build it for real. A big feature that LDD should have had. I'll be honest, the only reason I know Blender exists is because some people make real high quality porn with it. I don't know if this is relevant, but I need to get this off my chest. Edit. Some examples are Pupisterus, Firebox Studio, and, I think, Aho Angel. Edit. And Alois. Someone mentioned him. You sick fucks. What? No they don't. No one would do that. Like, who? Who would do that? Like specifically? Edit. My first gold. Thank you Reddit. I've made it. Woo. OpenScat. Create 3D models with a scripting language. If you have a 3D printer and you want to print some exotic shapes, or if you're creating parts that might need a parameter tweak here and there each run, it's fantastic. My favorite for third modeling stuff for my printer. Mostly because I'm a programmer, so I feel right at home defining shapes in OpenScat. It's better than CSS. LaTeX. I just started learning it a few weeks ago, and I've already switched over to it for doing all my assignments. The documents are just so much more beautiful and well formatted than Docs or Word, and it handles equations and math much better than either, which is good for me, since I'm in engineering, so lots of math. I'd highly encourage anyone who's studying math/science/engineering to learn and start using LaTeX. Interesting story of how TeX came about. Nuth, one of the fathers of computer science, was writing his book and found the software available at the time to be bad. So he wrote TeX so that he could write his book on it. KeePass. I have been using that as my password manager since 2008. It's updated regularly, has two versions, one, net and the other not, is entirely portable on Windows at least, and works on a few OSes besides Windows. Has plugins if you need any functionality the base version doesn't have. It's changed the way I store passwords, addresses, URLs for everything. There's a learning curve, but I have fallen in love with never having to remember a password. I've been using KeePass for years now. Best thing, it's multi-platform, so I can use it on my Windows machine and Android phone. If you want to use KeePass, here's what I do. Google Drive is where I store my encrypted Keepers database for cloud access on Windows. I install the latest Keepers program to sync my Windows database with Google Drive. I install the Google Sync plugin on Firefox. I install the Key add-on on Android. I use the Keepers to Android app. Getting everything working is a bit of a learning curve, but worth it, since you'll have a multi-platform password manager for free. But always consider a donation. Not technically a software, but http://archive.org/ it has millions of free downloads for music, movies, books, software, etc. One very popular example is that it is home to a very large catalog of Grateful Dead recordings. It also has the Internet Arcade, where you can play a lot of classic games, along with the console living room, which is similar. They have access to tons of old PC games too, and you can even play the original Oregon Trail online. It also has the Wayback Machine, which has archived more than 310 billion web pages saved over time, so you can go back and see how websites were years ago. For example, here's Reddit on July 25th, 2005, a month after it was created. The fact that you have access to all these amazing resources for free is pretty awesome. The Internet Archive also offers a tool which shows you what the Reddit front page looked like on the day you created your account. Back when Redditors were Redditors, Ask Reddit posts were excuses for anecdotes, and /r/atheism was a default subreddit. Wikipedia. It's actually free in all senses of the word. If you want to nitpick that it's a website and not a software, well, it's a software too. You can download the Wikimedia software, set it up with no hassle, download all of Wikipedia and set it up in your instance of Wikimedia. So now you have your very own Wikipedia, with blackjack and hookers if you want. Goddamn, it's only 242 gigabytes for the entire English Wikipedia, with media. That's crazy how you could put it on a 1TB hard drive and still have literally shit tons of space left. Google Maps on a cell phone. Navigation systems used to cost hundreds of dollars not too long ago. Edit to answer most common replies to my comment. But Google is not free. You are the product. Yes, that is entirely true. However, Google Maps can be used without signing into the app. Will this prevent Google from collecting location data, a necessity for any map app, and linking it to you personally? Probably not, but you can reduce targeted advertising to some extent. You can also turn off recording of your location information, or delete your recorded location history. In iOS, you can only permit the app to use your location information when in use, which is pivotal for providing any map service, except offline maps. But your cell phone costs hundreds of dollars also, so what is the difference? Unlike the navigation systems that were, and are still, as pointed out by many, available and cost hundreds of dollars, cell phones are multi-purpose devices. I imagine that most of us use cell phones primarily for other purposes than as navigation devices. Was is better, I suppose that is personal preference. Was, also a subsidiary of Alphabet, the parent company of Google, is undoubtedly useful and have more info, but I haven't gotten to like its UI. I know you mean free as in price, but here are some free, as in open source, software I love, that are also free of cost. Darktable, Photo Workflow, Lightroom. Very powerful, and there are a solid number of plugins for it to boot. GIMP, f/os image editor. A bit clunky at first but insanely powerful. Krita, f/os art programmer. Paint tool, say, or Coral Draw. I've used it a fair bit for cleaning comic scans. LibreOffice, Office Suite without the license fees. LibreOffice 6 is out now with some significant bug fixes and performance improvements. MPD/Mopedy, f/os music player daemon. It's a bit complicated at first glance, but a very capable music player when you have everything configured. I've set it up to stream to an iSCSI output before for some internet radio fun. 7-zip. You really have no excuse for not using 7z. It's great. It's FOSS, love it. GIMP. It's an image editor that is incredibly powerful, similar to Photoshop and open source. EHH is a graphic designer who's used both GIMP and Photoshop extensively. GIMP is definitely okay and can get the AVG job done, but Photoshop is far more advanced and so much better at what it can do and how it does it. Edit. Wow, this blew up. Apparently people don't realize you can get perfectly capable older versions of Photoshop for free. and I was specifically addressing those who believe GIMP can do close to what Photoshop does. They look similar, but beyond your basic features, GIMP is not nearly as good as Photoshop, and there were comments saying GIMP could do same as Photoshop. When you compare it next to Photoshop, it definitely isn't as good. I much prefer Photoshop. It's when you compare it to other photo editors that you realize how terrible so many of them are. GIMP being free, while those others not being free, and doing less than GIMP can is pretty nuts. Reaper is my go-to audio workstation. It's technically $60 per version, but its fully functioning demo version lasts forever. Load it with some FSTs and plugin, and you can start making music. OBS is really good for screen captures. Lightworks demo is fully serviceable if you're making YouTube videos, but after a few issues, I moved over to Shotcut for video editing. Finally, for what it does as 3D CAD/CAM software, Fusion 360 is free for hobbyists. Edit cleared up some points. Reaper is an amazing software, but it's actually not an annual cost but a one-time cost, which gives you free updates for 2 entire version. That is from v5.xx to 7.xx. It might be up for debate whether it should be counted as free, but can be recommended nevertheless. Don't know if Sketchup has been mentioned in here, but if you're doing any kind of woodworking or garage smithing stuff, it's a great tool to help you get your designs in order before going to the store. It's helped me get all the materials I'll need ready to roll and to tweak my designs before I have to scratch my head after I made 3 cuts. Super intuitive to use after watching and making along with the tutorials, and there are literally thousands of great YouTube videos out there showing you how to design anything from chairs to cabinets to houses, and how to make the best use out of your materials and tools. Scribus, we had to do menus for our new cafe and the graphic designers will insist on Adobe InDesign, despite being told I needed to edit it afterwards. I'll be stuffed if I was paying a monthly Adobe fee so I can keep our menu seasonal. Scribus was very easy to figure out the basics of page layout for our needs, with those touches of extra control you don't get easily in a word processor.